Okay, guys, I think we are going to actually get started right on time today because, as we just found out in the embroidery, the Sierra uh, Liberty software training demonstration that we just did, uh, Alan has a lot to cover in a short period of time. So, if you have questions, type them in at any time, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'll turn it over to Alan.
Okay. Everybody can hear me okay? Okay. You should all be able to see my screen now.
Yep.
Okay, good. So what I'm going to do is actually just walk you through the most important thing I could drive in this 45 minutes drive home to you guys within this 45 minutes is actually the proper way to actually approach any given design. Okay, there's 4 steps to actually creating a design that has to be done each and every time in order to create great looking rhinestone designs from the Sierra HotFix era. Okay, the step number 1 is we need a graphic. Okay, we need to have a graphic. It could be a Jpeg, it could be a vector graphic, it could be from CorelDRAW or Adobe Illustrator, it could be from any one of those programs, or it could even be something as simple as grabbing something, some kind of clip art from the web. So on the Google, let's see, we got 4th of July coming up. So I'll just type in 4th of July clip art. Now, of course, this is just for training purposes only. I would you want to be careful what you pull and convert to rhinestones and sell from the internet. Okay, now on Google, it does give you a couple tools here where you can actually go to usage rights and go to label reuse with modifications, and it'll show you all the different ones that you can use for on the to actually convert the rhinestones on here and use them for resale. I'm just going to show you just something. I'm just going to go no filtered license here, and we're just going to choose a design here. And let's see, just want a nice 4th of July. Nothing really busy. Let me see. I'll go with this one here. Looks like it's pretty good. And you can see right here, it actually tricked me. It's actually not going to give me the design here. It's not going to give it to me cleanly anyway. Let's go ahead and choose this 4th of July right here. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to save the picture to my desktop. I'm also going to save it as a bitmap because you can't read GIF images. All right. Step number 1 is we need a graphic to work with. Okay. So I'm just going to bring the graphic in.
Right, and this could be a
Step number
customer
2.
logo. It could be just about anything.
It could be anything you want. Absolutely, I can actually create this easy if I have the font within my library. I could do that real simple with the artwork text here. Step number 2 is you got to edit your graphic based upon what the customer wants. In other words, this is going to be a full chest design. It came in as a 2.3-inch wide design, so we want this to be about 6.5 inches. This will be a nice size for a full chest design, whether it's a woman's shirt or a man's shirt. The next thing we want to do is we want to actually, if I zoom into the colors that this guy actually created this, you can see a lot of different colors in that red. Okay, we want to actually reduce all the colors, all these extra colors here, to their primary color. In other words, this design has red, white, and blue, and black. And hold on one second. Those guys. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to go to color reduction here. And if we scan this image for up to 32 colors, you can see all the colors that are in this design. Now, why would that be a problem? Well, when I want to convert things to rhinestones, and I use my magic wand, it doesn't see the entirety of the blue area. You can see how truncated that area is. It's not a very clean selection there. Okay, and we want it to be. It's not too bad. So what I'm going to do is I am going to clean my art first, okay? And you don't need CorelDRAW or Adobe Illustrator to do that. You can do it right from the design screen here. Go to color reduction. We only have 4 colors in this design, 4 primary colors: red, white, blue, and black. And there they are right there. Okay, and now I converted the gray to converted the black to gray. I'm actually going to take this to 3 colors. There we go. Now, when we want to convert this to rhinestones, you can actually see that when I magic wand the red area, it's seeing the entirety of the red area. It's a much cleaner image. When I zoom in, you don't see those other colors. I got a little bit right there. All right, so now what I'm going to do, next step is actually I got to fill my rhinestone catalog here with the stones I intend to use. To do that, you go to the bead bar. By the way, you got to be in the HotFix tab to get this, okay? I'm just going to sweep out the stone catalog right there, and then I'm going to add the stones I intend to use for rhinestones or for the spangle. So in order to do this, you got to choose your style of stone first. So I'm going to go with a standard round. I'm going to choose the size stone that I want to use, and I'll choose the color, and then I'll use the green arrow button to add it to it. Now, if I made the wrong selection, I want to change that. You see this yellow arrow shows up. If I click on that, it changes it to the green color. Okay? The green arrow adds it to it. The red arrow button removes the stone from the selection. Okay? Now, I'm using an SS6 because the area in the fourth right here is very narrow. So I'm going to use an SS4. I'm even going to use an SS6 clear stone. So let's add that to my catalog here. We're going to go to an SS10 stone now. We're going to use our clear, and we'll use red.
Hey, Alan, we've got a couple of questions here. Is this the latest version of HotFix that you're working on?
This is version 15.01, yes.
Okay, so one question was, someone is having trouble with auto-populating, and the other one is somebody doesn't see the color adjust in the newest version of HotFix.
Yeah, the color adjust is in there. As you can see, I'm on version 15.01, just like everybody will be now. When I click on my graphic, you've got to click on your graphic. It's got to be selected for color reduction to show up. It doesn't show up on the ribbon until your graphic is selected, and it's right there. It'll actually be under the image tab. See, image goes away when I'm not selected. See how I got artwork, embroidery, HotFix, and view. When I click on it, I get more menus to work from, image and layout. Okay? So now the population is actually, because this is a JPEG, I can't use the Smart Designer here to convert things to stones. It just doesn't work that way. It's not, that only works with graphics that are vectors. In order to populate this with stones, I have to use the Autocomplete in order to do it, okay? So for instance, let's go ahead and choose the blue stones first. I'm going to choose a fill. And over here you have manual, auto, and freehand. Auto allows me to do an autocomplete, which actually gives me a magic wand where I can click what I want to convert and hit enter. And hit enter. And you can see what's happening here. Okay?
Right.
Now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to adjust my bead spacing. So right now I'm at a bead spacing of 10. Because this is an SS6 stone, a comfortable bead spacing is going to be 4. And you can see I get more stones in the fill.
Could you get rid of the of that image so we can take a look at what those stones look like?
Sure.
Okay, cool. And if while you're going, we've had a couple of requests for you to maybe talk about briefly what the differences are for somebody using version 15 and not, if there's any obvious difference.
Yeah, the difference is actually the way I actually convert the stones. For instance, if I'm going to bring in a vector file here, and I'll just bring in the hearts, okay? For a vector file, let's go ahead and size this first. Let's go to 5. In order for a vector file to be converted, I have to ungroup it first. So I have 3 individual elements here, this part, and that part. Now what I do is I choose, go to HotFix, choose the stone I want to use first, click where that stone's going to go, and I'm going to use Smart Design. Smart Design is over here on the left sidebar. Okay? On version 11, you had a convert to HotFix that showed up on the menu tab here.
Right.
Now they just put it over here, and we have, there's your fills right there. And there's,
wait,
and there's
where was it? Show that again.
Yep, I'm going to do the second one. I'm going to choose a color. I'm going to choose, let's go ahead and choose this pink here. Click where that pink's going to go. And then use your Smart Designer and choose the type of fill that you want it to be.
Okay, Smart Designer's over on the left now. That's great.
That's right, that's right. And then I'll choose the black, and I'll choose where the black's going to go, use Smart Designer, and use the fill.
Nice.
And then what I could do is just bead spacing. Just like
And
that.
no difference between this and, you know, you're talking about stones, etc., but it's the same for spangles, correct?
It's the same. It's the same thing. Yep. Anything I create in here is actually for the Rhinestone machine or the Spangle machine, or both.
And by
Matter of
the way,
fact,
I'm going to also ask you to pause here for a second, Alan. If it gets, Alan is actually in our tech support area. If it gets a little loud in there, Alan, you can just pick up your laptop and come join me in the magic closed box in marketing if you want to.
Yep. No problem. No problem. Okay. Now that's a vector file, okay? Vector files are distinguishable because you have the nodes of creation here where I could actually shape this object any way I want, okay? You will not have that in a JPEG like this 4th of July. When I put a background color on my screen here, you can see that everything, I have a white background and everything, so I don't have a vector here. But let's say I needed to do something here, and I needed a vector to do it. I do have the tool to convert the vector here. And after cleaning my graphic, it's just a matter of selecting a magic wand, and boom, there's the vector. Okay. Now I have a vector file here.
We got a slow down request, Alan. You know, spend a little bit more time on where you're finding those tools. I know we've only got an hour.
Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it again. Let's go ahead and go to my HotFix. Let's get rid of my stones here for a minute. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring a JPEG image in, okay, like this guy here is a JPEG, okay? Texas, okay? In the Texas image here, we have some security images here because we did grab this from the internet. The first step I want to do with my graphic is clean my graphic, okay? And you do that by using color reduction. Color reduction takes the original graphic view, which is multiple colors, multiple shades of each of these colors, and reduces it to the primary color, like we have red, white, and blue, and black. That's 4 colors. So if I reduce to 4 colors and hit filter, it will reduce it to the 4 primary colors, just like that. See, now we no longer have those lines. I do have one here, which I could delete later. Okay, now what I could do is actually, to get rid of these other blue lines, I'm actually going to convert this to a vector. Now that we cleaned our art up, when we convert the vector, it's a lot easier job. All we got to do is click on, under Vectorize settings, the magic wand that says Vectorize. It gives us a before and after, and if they look the same, you see how the blue disappeared? That's because we have blue set as a transparent. I want all parts of the design.
Yeah.
So I'm going to choose no transparency, and there's the blue back.
And now this is the same. This is the same in the older software as well, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. Same process that we would use with that. Okay. So there's our design. Now I do have some blue imaging behind this cowboy. Okay. So there it is. I just want to delete these 2, and then we'll bring the cowboy back. Okay. And now we have a vector. See, we couldn't do that. We couldn't move that cowboy in and out like we just did. And now the cowboy, I can actually make him any color I want. Okay, I can make him red. I could just take the cowboy out and delete the rest of the flag, and then use this for my rhinestone. So you can, by converting the vector, you can actually grab different parts, different aspects about this design, and delete the flag, and now you have 2 parts of a design. Now all I got to do is choose, go to HotFix, go to the catalog, make sure I have the right stone in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to standard stone. Choose a size, choose the color, add it to it, and now what we do is just click on this and use our Smart Design, and there's the stones. Set our bead spacing, and there we go. So now we have that cowboy.
Now, Alan, there's a question here. Do you always convert JPEG files to vectors?
Never. Don't have to. It's just a waste of time. Let's go back a couple steps, okay? Let's, matter of fact, let's go ahead and get rid of this graphic.
Isn't that what you just did, is convert a JPEG file to a vector file?
Yep. That was just showing you the strength of what the software can do.
Okay.
There are some times that I do have to convert to vector, and I'll describe those times when you have to. The only thing I do with a JPEG is actually just reduce the colors to the basic primary colors that are in the design. Okay. This here is 4 colors. I reduce to 4 colors.
And it's
And
still a
now all
JPEG.
I got to do, if I want to convert it now, that once I want to convert this to rhinestones, is choose the color, choose the fill style because this is a JPEG. I'm going to use the autocomplete feature in the digitizing methods here.
Great.
Click where that red goes, and hit enter, and there's my stones.
Nice. And that's also in both the older and the current applications.
Yes, that technique is also in there.
Awesome.
I'm going to add a new stone to the I'm going to go an SS10 stone. I'm going to add blue Capri, and then now we'll choose the blue Capri. Choose the fill method I'm going to use, and I'm going to use a grid pattern here because it's kind of linear, okay? And use autocomplete. Click where the blue is going to go, and hit enter.
Nice.
And adjust your bead spacing to 4 on the bead spacing, 4 on the lines of bead spacing, okay? And then we would just add, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just again go with the red here, choose my fill. And nice little tool you have here is actually something called adding a bead. Since the bead was not available, I then click on the color that I did select, choose another color or another size, and there's the clear, and add it. Now it becomes available, and boom, I got clear there.
Nice. Okay, Renee, we got a question from Renee. Can you pick up at HotFix a little slower? I don't know what that means, Renee. You're going to have to explain that a little bit. Oh, everyone is saying you're going a little bit too fast.
Yeah, 45 minutes goes by real quick.
Yeah.
All right, let's just go ahead and do it.
Can you go through that, what you just did, one more time? Maybe
Sure.
that.
Yeah, this is going to comprise all 4 steps that I normally take that you have to do during any creation process. Number 1, I need an image. I bring the image in and drop it in. Now, if it's a JPEG, okay, this is a JPEG. Most of your graphics will be a JPEG. You'll even have some customers that will hand draw something on a napkin and ask you to convert it to rhinestones, okay? You'll still have to do the same 4 steps. So the first step is actually bringing the graphic into the software. Step number 2 is editing the graphic, and that includes sizing it, reducing the colors, okay?
Yep.
Step number 3 is converting all objects of the graphic to the right rhinestone and size, color and size. And step number 4 is saving or exporting the design to your machine, whether it be a rhinestone machine or a spangle machine or whatever you're running. Okay? So step number 1 we just did. We brought a graphic in, okay? Step number 2 is we now need to edit the graphic. The customer wants this for a tote bag. So the tote bag measures 12 by 12. I want this design to be 10 by 10. So I would go to click on the image. You'll see in the menu up here, we have a new menu there. It's called Layout. You can see that. I click on it. Right here is where you're sizing it.
Yep.
So I'm going to set this to 10 inches. The next thing I want to do is, because my graphic has all these extra noises in it, because I grabbed it from the internet, okay, I need to reduce the colors. The other reason why is because when you zoom in to the colors, look at the different colors of blue that outline the edge of that star. You can see these little imperfections in the coloration of the design. Our design is red, white, and blue, and black. There's only 4 colors in this design. However, when we use color reduction to preview this design and how many colors it has, look at all the shades of blue that are actually in this design that it's seeing.
Yeah.
We want to reduce all these shading to the primary color. The primary color being royal blue, red, white, and black. You do that by choosing it here. Reduce up to 4 colors, and then hit filter, and now you'll see we will have our 4 primary colors, and all those security things have gone away.
Now, the purpose of this is not to reduce the security things, because we don't want you guys pirating images from the internet anyway,
no.
But it works just as well with any artifacts that a typical bad JPEG would have.
The reason why primarily is because when I'm ready to convert to rhinestones, you see how it's not seeing that whole blue field?
Yeah.
Because of those different colors. Look, it's not even selecting all the red. Look at that. It's a JPEG. It's a dirty image. It's got a lot of different colors in there that it's seeing. When I clicked, it only chose the colors of the area that I clicked. So that's why you want to clean your image. And to do that, again, I'll just click on the image. Color reduction is the first thing you see on the left-hand sidebar there. And I'm going to reduce to the amount of primary colors I have. I have 4 colors in here. You click on filter. It reduces all of those colors to the primary colors. Now, when I go ahead and when I want to convert to rhinestones, you'll see that when I magic wand it, it sees the blue field. It's clean now. You see how it's seeing those different parts of the design? Okay? That's step number 1. Step number 1 is bringing the art in. Step number 2 is editing the design. I just edited it. I cleaned up the colors. I sized it out. Step number 3 is converting all these areas to rhinestones. So step number 1 of that is actually making sure the rhinestones are in my palette. Now, if you're not seeing rhinestones in your palette here, chances are you're probably on the Artwork tab. Artwork shows us colors, okay? If we go to HotFix here, we could see our colors described in rhinestones or nailheads or whatever you have over there. So in this design, we have red, white, and blue. So I'm going to go to my catalog here, and I'm going to add those colors.
Hey, once you do that, Alan, I'd like you to go back through and show everybody that spot where you picked up the wand.
Yeah, I'll show. Yeah, well, I'll be doing it in a second here.
Okay.
So I'm going to choose an SS10 stone. The SS10 is going to be for the blue field. It's going to be cobalt. You hit your green arrow button to add it to your bead bar. Now, if I made a wrong selection on that blue and I wanted a different blue, like maybe I wanted this Montana, in order to change this to Montana, you got to click on the yellow arrow, and it changes the color, okay? The red arrow pulls it back out of the bead order, okay? Again, the green arrow adds the color, and we'll choose red SS10. Add it to our catalog. We're going to choose a clear or the crystal SS10 for our white area. And I'm also going to add an SS6 clear too. And that's going to be for our star. Okay, it's a smaller area, so I want a better detail, so I'm going to choose star to be SS6. Now you can sequence this. Up at the top you have this arrow button that allows you to move this stone up in the list or down the list. Okay? So there it is. So there's my bead bar. So now I just convert the areas to rhinestones. Simply click on the stone you intend to use first. Click on the type of fill you're going to use, and I'm going to use this uniform fill. And then you're going to go to Auto and choose Autocomplete. It gives you the magic wand here. Click on the blue area so it is selected, and then hit your Enter button. And there's my stones. Click on Select Object, and now I could edit the stone fill. You can see that I'm going to take my bead fill down to about, bead spacing down to about 5 on this. And I may even do a hexagon fill, which is going to give me a little bit tighter fill. See how that looks? That looks pretty good. And even on that, I could adjust my bead spacing out a little bit. There we go. I used hexagon fill because it's more of a linear fill instead of a radial fill, like a circulated fill pattern. Now we're going to choose the red stone, choose the fill pattern, click where the red goes, and hit Enter. And I'll just click on all these little areas in here, and we'll just keep hitting Enter to convert these colors to the right stone.
And if you were, I just want to confirm, Alan, if you were working in Pro Spangle, you could more easily use rhine studs, and that would give you a truer size. Is that right?
Yeah, or you can just use the rhinestones too. It's not really that temperamental. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my bead spacing, but yeah, you can use rhine studs just as easy. And I'm going to go to my Object Inspector and decrease my bead spacing on all the areas instead of one area at a time. There we go. Okay, next color is the clear stones, which is going to be the SS10. And I'm going to use uniform area. Click where the white goes, click on Enter. Click on this part, click on Enter. 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 And I may use an SS6 stone in here. Let's go ahead and go to Select Object. Let's choose the SS6. Let's go to an SS6 stone here. And the smaller areas require smaller stones to get a better fill. You see that just looks a lot better there. Now, what you did not see me do, and I kind of did it quick, was actually I opened up on the right-hand sidebar my Object Manager. Now, usually in adjusting bead spacing, you got to go selection by selection. There's 10, I'll change it to 5, then go to the inside, change it to 5, you know, section by section. But if there's a lot of sections to your design, you can do it all at one shot by going to the Object Manager. You can see there's our blue area. Here's all the areas of rhinestones that we did for red. Let's go down to the clear, and I'll click on the first clear section, hold the Shift key, click on the last clear section. Now they're all selected, and I could adjust my bead spacing universally right from here. So instead of one at a time. And there we go. So now I got my bead spacing all done. The last part of the design, of course, is the star, so I'm going to choose my fill. Click on that star, click on Enter, and then adjust my bead spacing, okay? So once again, converting objects of the graphic to stones, you simply choose the stone you want to work with first, click on the type of fill, and then choose your autocomplete, and magic wand your object, and then hit Enter. It converts all objects to the stones, okay? Now there are several different type of fills here. Actually, I can convert this to a ring fill, which will give me a different look to this design. Probably wouldn't like that too much, but there's several different patterns here that you can utilize, which may dress this up even more. Different ways that these stones will lay out. You see, that looks pretty cool there. I mean, there's some cool things that you can do with some of these fill patterns here.
Some of the patterns may or may not be included in the package, correct?
Right. Yes, that's correct. Some of these are actually, there's more fill patterns than I'm showing here, but then they are purchasable, okay? Now you can see that actually looks pretty cool.
That's cool. Hey, Alan, how did you bring up the Object Manager? Where did you see that?
The Object Manager is probably hidden behind everybody's go-to-meeting dialog box. If you just, it'll be on the right-hand sidebar. Let me show you. You can see it right here on my right-hand sidebar.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay, it's probably just hidden behind everybody's go-to-meeting. Okay, but there are some cool different type of fill patterns. This one here is called a radio. It's called a. This one here allows me to dictate how this fills. If I choose, like I want this to be like a fill pattern like this. Okay, and what I'm doing is just drawing a pattern of how I want these stones to fill in this area here.
Yeah, hey, you know what? We actually had a question about that, about drawing, if that's something that you can talk about too.
Sure, sure. You can see what I can do is I can make this all patterned by doing this. There's a lot of things you can do with some of the fill patterns you got here. This one here was called Flexible Fill, and what it does, it allows you to define how these stones fill this area. So if I just do a zigzag line, it'll actually do a zigzag line fill pattern for me right there.
So
do 17 on the line spacing.
So if you wanted to freehand draw with stones, how would you do that, Alan?
Oh, simple. First of all, yeah, like the only time you're probably going to find yourself doing that is you got a graphic that was hand drawn, okay, like on a napkin. For instance, let's do this Father's Day design here. Let's say I just want the mustache. Since I have a template of what that mustache should look like, I can just go to the HotFix, choose a fill pattern, and I'll do manual here. And what I'm going to do is just going to draw this out just by clicking and entering these nodes. And just using the mustache as my template and how to actually create this.
And those are Bezier nodes, right? You can change
these are curved nodes, yes. These are Bezier style nodes. I can actually convert, I can actually change how they shape, and but I could also control how many I am. They're just management elements to determine the shape that these rhinestones will take in a fill.
Okay.
And I'll just come up here, and we'll finish where we started, and hit Enter. And there we go. See what we did? We just manually created that. Okay. Now we could do the same thing easy just by choosing a fill and then using the magic wand. Okay. So I can go to Autocomplete, and if this was a clean image, you know what I mean, I can actually just choose that, and it'll actually convert it to rhinestones as well. Some images, all images will clean. Even this one's really bad. You can see the different colors of black. Just hit color reduction, reduce it to the 4 colors that are in the design, return. Now when I go ahead and convert that to HotFix, it sees the entire thing, and it's just that quick. Okay, you'll rarely have to create things by scratch using manual modes unless it's really small design. If the design's so small that when you auto-convert, there's just not enough stones there to see. Okay.
I've got
Does that answer that question?
Here. I do. One question was, how are you moving it like that? I think it was having to do with grabbing those Bezier handles and moving them.
What do you mean, moving what?
The lines when you were drawing around the mustache.
Oh, I wasn't controlling the Bezier. I mean, you have Bezier controls, like in the HotFix. Let's go ahead and do an outline of that. Okay, and I'm just going to use manual. You have, up here is the node style. I'm on curves. 85-90% of the stuff that you're going to do is going to have some kind of curvature to it. Okay, the mustache has a lot of them. If I was in straight sides, in other words, this is only going to draw straight lines, okay? And if I wanted to curve it, I would to click and then drag, okay, to get the shape of Bezier, okay?
Right.
The other thing would be if I was in Bezier and I was creating a graphic, a vector. Like this is a JPEG here. If I go to Bezier and I want to draw this, you see it's drawn in straight lines. In order to get the curve, I got to click and then shape the curve.
Right.
Okay, got to.
And you're actually clicking your mouse to drop that on there.
You got it. You got it. That's if I was actually going to create a vector file from somebody's hand-drawn image. Okay, gotcha. I could just like. This is basically.
We've got a couple of autocomplete questions. One person says, when I do the autocomplete, I have a box that comes up before filling that says automatic tracing and it won't fill. Any ideas? If it's
I would have to see the graphic. Well, 2 things I want to make sure. Number 1, are you actually reducing your colors to primary colors, okay? Or is there a lot of different colors in that graphic?
Right.
The second thing is when you're going to HotFix, okay, you got to make sure that you're on manual autocomplete, okay? If I'm on auto trace, sometimes it sees more than when I'm like see auto trace. If I do auto trace on this letter P, okay, and I hit enter, see how it fills the middle of the P in? It just sees the shape of the P, where autocomplete actually sees the inside color too, the inside obstacle in there, and only does the outline. You know what I mean?
And both of those are in the older version of the software as well?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. One of the things that autocomplete gives me is a third option. Auto trace is auto center on path. Now, auto center on path would be for an object. Let's bring in. Let's bring this 4th of July thing, okay? Which I started with. Let's get rid of this guy here. You see how I have a path line on the outside there? I'm just gonna before I do this, let me just reduce my colors real quick, because I'm gonna need a vector for this. I'm just gonna convert this to a vector real quick. There we go. Accept. Boom. Done. You see how I have a straight line out here? You see the outline, the blue outline of this 4th of July?
Yeah.
Well, if I wanted that to be a true outline, okay, and I just click on that, it doesn't give me a straight line. Actually, it gives me 2 lines for each line. Hold on one second. Let me just go to select object. Let me just make this a little bigger so I can make my point here. One of the other additives that they have is, let's go to, if I click on that outline here, and I'm just trying to get the L, okay, and I want to convert that to like a path line. It's going to do 2 paths. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I'm sorry. It's going to do the right-hand side of this line and the left-hand side of that line. You see how we got 2 lines right there? It's seeing the left edge as well as the right edge of this outline instead of giving me a solid single line. There is a new tool within the software that I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a path line. I'm sorry.
Slow down.
It's under the auto. It's called Auto Center Path. This was not available in 11, where when I click on that, you see how it puts the stones right in the middle of the line instead of on the edge. See, now I can actually get one single line of stones for outlines of fonts, you know what I mean, than what I was getting before. I'm not sure if people out there remember that. When you clicked on that blue and you converted it to a path, like to do an outline, it put 2 lines of stones on there instead of 1, because it's seeing the edge pathing, the edge of the right and left edge of that design. Well, now what you have is in the path and autocomplete, you go to auto trace center, and it puts a single line right in the center, and it makes the designing, the intention of that designing a lot easier.
Okay, we've got a couple of, it looks like maybe we'll do an entire section on this at some point, Alan, because there are a lot of questions based around that auto select tool. There is one question that somebody brought up that I want to point out. One of the attendees says, if I have an image on the internet that is already in Rhinestone pattern, but I want to modify, what's the best way to do that? And
well, let's find one. Let's find one. The problem with
but you shouldn't do that. I mean, that's really what I want to point out.
I understand what you're saying, but just for everybody else that's wants to see what he's seeing, let's go ahead and go to Rhinestone Clip Art, okay? And what he's talking about is actually a design like this, okay? Let me just grab this. Let me save picture as, and I'll save it as a PNG to my desktop. Okay. And he wants to actually be able to bring this design in, and then where every single stone is in this design, he wants a stone. And you can't do that because that's a graphic. Even cleaning up this image, color reducing this to the 2-3 colors that there is, when I click on HotFix and I choose my path line, okay, it's only seeing that one stone. And even if I would convert it, it's going to put a bunch of stones around the shape of that circle. The only way you would have to do this is through manual HotFix, one stone at a time, matching stone placement to stone placement. There's no way of converting this to a better graphic inside the software, unless what you could do is actually use your Bezier and actually create a graphic from it.
Yeah, use it as an outline.
That's right. And I'll just like draw this out, like, and then drawing the helmet out. Of course, I'd be a little bit more careful to get the detail. But what you would do is create a vector out of it. Boom. And then now I don't need this image anymore. Now I have the helmet that now will convert to rhinestones. Okay? So, yeah, unfortunately, rhinestone designs that you pull from the internet will have to be single stone technique, or unless you create a vector from the out of the graphic.
And just like using clip art that's not yours from the internet, I mean, really, you do want to make sure that you're doing things above board. We encourage our customers to follow copyright rules and trademark rules.
Yeah, no cheating. No cheating allowed.
No cheating.
Okay. What other questions are out there, sir? So we want to actually spend more time on the conversion.
Yeah, let's save that for another one, and please get into text before we leave. Let's do a little bit with both standard fonts and TrueType.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do I'll do artwork. Now this comes in, all your text that are found in the artwork tab is going to come in as a vector, okay? And with the text here, I'm going to answer two questions with one. Let me see. I'm going to bring in with one style. There we go. I'm going to bring in these balloons. Okay. We have 2 types of graphics on our screen here. Okay. Very different graphics. One is a vector, which we could see as the Coldesi, and one is the balloons. The balloons will have all your JPEGs and graphics that are rasterized will have a white background. The way you convert these 2 different types of objects is a little different. Okay. To convert Coldesi, I click on the word Coldesi, and I'm going to ungroup it, and you use Smart Design to convert all areas to rhinestones, just like that. Okay. The Smart Design does not work in the JPEG mode because you're not selecting an object. See, nothing happens. Okay. In order to convert, you have to use the magic wand technique, and for that you use Autocomplete right here. Click on the color, hit enter. okay? To do a center line here, I'm going to choose, okay? And I'll click on this and hit enter, and then on and on and on and on, okay? So there's two different ways that you convert to stones. If it's a vector, you use the smart design technique.
Can you
Okay?
do the Coldesi font again, and then center that over the graphic?
Center it over the balloons?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's get rid of the stones and the balloons. There's a couple things I would have to do with that, okay? Number one, if the balloons are actually going to have detail, I mean, going to have stones in them, then I would need to convert the balloons to a vector, okay? Because I need the ability to cut the shape of Coldesi out of the balloons, okay? Matter of fact, let me do this two different ways, okay?
Yeah, just do the basic conversion again, you know, and then move on, please.
Yeah, like the Coldesi, okay? Let's go ahead and do something here. Let's go ahead and join these letters up, okay? We're just going to jumble these letters up just like this, okay? All right, now, what I was going to show him was when we have overlapping areas of stones, of shape on top of shape, well, if we convert this to rhinestones like it is, where these images overlap, it's going to be a problem with how the stones lay out. It's not going to be clean at all. So what we have to do is we have to simplify this object into one graphic. And that's under combined vectors, and it's called simplify. Okay? If I do simplify, what it does, it cuts the shapes out. You see that it cut that D out of that L. Or you could weld this all together as one object, and that's called addition. And now it's all welded together as one shape.
And
now
can you rotate that shape, by the way?
Yes, you can. If the rotate is, when you select it, you see your gray pull points right here?
Yeah.
If I hold the control button, I could rotate.
Okay, cool. Control,
okay?
And
a lot of people don't know, but when I hold the control button, you see that gray dot in the middle?
Yeah.
I can move that out here. That becomes the point of my rotation.
Huh.
Okay. Okay. Once we've done that, once we've used addition, now we can actually convert the graphic to rhinestones. Adjust bead spacing, and maybe put a border on it. Choose the border color. It should be SS6. I don't have an SS6. I'll just use SS4 for now. And then set your bead spacing. And there you go. Now the size of the font matters, so I'm going to change the fill to what's called a hexagon, which will actually give me a lot better fill in this small of a font. Sometimes your fills will not come out too well. If you look at this one here, you see the breaks in the E, and that's because there's not enough room to do that, to fill that properly. If this design was a little bigger, then you could see that I have the room for fill. So on small designs, I may be tempted to use hexagon fill because it does fill the design a lot better. Okay? So this is a vector file that I use Smart Design to convert to rhinestones. Okay? Let's go ahead and do one more, and I'm going to show you how to make this a zebra print, okay? We're going to resize this, okay? Let's go ahead and you have another tool that you need a vector to do. It's called split vector, and what I could do is segment my lettering just like this.
Hang on for just a second, Alan. Okay, everyone, I think I've actually successfully recorded this. So don't worry if he's going too fast in some of these parts, or if you want to see something again, because I'll make sure that you guys get a recording.
And what I'm doing here is actually cutting this design up in different sections, okay? And I'm going to work my way around and do the S. And then we'll finish up with the I. There we go. So what I did is now I just made a candy cane, basically. And let's select all these alternate areas. Okay, and let's see. Let's go here. And I'll do that. Nope, not that one. This one. And what I'm doing is I'm making a candy cane here. All right, that's all one object. This one's going to be green. And I think I'm done. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to collect all my greens here. Well, actually, let's go ahead and convert this now. Okay, let's go to HotFix. Let's go ahead and add the stones I intend to use for this. And we're going to use an SS6. We're going to add an emerald. And I'll use red. I'll click on the green first. I'm going to click where the green goes, and I'm going to hold my control button and select all these areas of green here. Just like that. And then we go to Smart Design, use our fill. I'll come over here to the bead spacing and set my bead spacing. Okay, and there's the green. Now we'll go ahead and go to HotFix again, choose the red, and I'll choose all the red sections. Hold your control button, select all the red areas, so you're converting only one time. There we go. And actually, yeah, that's red, this should be green, and that should be red. So I'm just going to go ahead and convert using the Smart Design. Set my bead spacing. And there we go. So now we got our design. So now this here is supposed to be red. And this area here is going to be green, okay? I made a mistake in my changing of colors. And I'm just going to click on that, hit enter, and then set it to green, and set my bead spacing. And there we go. So now we have this cool looking design here. All right, so now you can see where color meets color. The last step of actually any designing technique is actually getting rid of those collisions. Okay, and to do that, what I'll do is I'll go to Solve Overlap Tool, and we'll just sweep them out. And there we go. So that's how you can have a lot of fun with some vector fonts, just doing that kind of stuff. All right, is there any other final questions that we have? I know we raced through it, 45 minutes, just not enough time to cover all the territory we need to cover.
Okay, we're gonna let people stack up some questions. We'll also answer these offline. I think I did get a successful recording done. It's difficult for us to carve out some of Alan's time, as you guys know that have machines. His main job is to help you with your machine and with your software, and that's embroidery and ProSpangle and cams. So we do our best to carve these out and make them as good as possible whenever we can. We'll try to do them more often, but again, this is a free service. We're just trying to keep you guys going. So we thank you for your attendance and your patience. We've got a recording of this. I will try to make sure that everybody gets. And if there's something that you would like to see next time, then please just let me know. You can reach me at mstevenson@coldesi.com, or just reply to the follow-up question that you're going to go get from GoToWebinar. Okay. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your attendance. Keep typing in your questions for the next few minutes, and we will try to get back to you.